Hey guys, it's the Loud Guys. Today we are going to watch Army Rangers smoked some Crips in 1989. So the first question in my mind was, what is Crips? And we did search for it. So it is some local street gang, or like you can say a street gang in Los Angeles. So it was, I think, so some very big gang of Los Angeles in 1989, and they smoked them. And I know the meaning of smoking. I know they have killed them and thrashed them completely. So what did Army Rangers do, and how? It is very hard to go against your own countrymen and like go in your country, because if one wrong move and the whole community can turn against you, and they might be thinking that you are the worst people, and they might turn against the army or the country itself. So there is very chances of that. So you have to be very careful. So what was this mission and what was this about? Let's see in this video.
And this video is going to be very entertaining because we have also seen many videos of, not many, but we have seen American soldiers with video when they do fight. So that was so entertaining and full of action. And to be honest, I was not that much into such kinds of things, but as we are watching American soldiers doing fight with with their anime, it is always so good to watch them. And to be honest, it feels so proud to me. I don't know why, but it is a very proudful moment also for me. So yeah, and previously I do think that we have seen Jet video where the Jet came to protect those soldiers, and the way the American soldiers perform is so incredible. And most importantly, it's not like that they are physically fit only. Even they take decision very calmly and with full of patience, that which makes them very different from the normal people. That's the reason why I have so much respect for the American soldiers. So yeah, today I'm so much excited to watch this video. So let's watch the video.
I am really very excited to see some smoke out there. So let's watch this video.
Saturday, September 23rd, 1989. An Army Ranger who had just purchased a home on one of Tacoma, Washington's most gang-infested streets quickly became a witness to various illegal activity happening out front of his home. He wasn't shy of confronting it or notifying the authorities, and soon after he became the target of one of the most notorious street gangs Washington State has ever seen.
Oh.
And after shaking up the hornet's nest one too many times, his home was ambushed by the Hilltop Crips gang, but not before he invited 15 of his Ranger buddies over for a barbecue. 300 rounds, and 10 minutes later, the Crips were fighting for their lives.
Oh my god!
In 1989, the neighborhood of Ash Street in Tacoma, Washington was an open-air drug market. There were several hotspots, and almost every house on the block was an active and thriving trap.
That intro was crazy. Because saying that, okay, there was some these gang members trying to ambush him, and he had all these Navy SEALs at his home, like having a barbecue. So it is the worst nightmare, like going to a place and there is police out there and they will thrash you out. Oh man, this is going to be a very exciting story.
Trap house. These gang infestations in the 1980s, born from the crack epidemic, flooded the streets and created an economic downturn that defined the decade. You might remember President Ronald Reagan declaring the war on drugs, or his first lady who was just like, just say no, oh my god. That was this time. Tacoma was Washington State's ground zero of gang activity, and by the summer of 1989, it had grown blatant, middle of the day type shit, like selling crack to the ice cream man type shit. And this was all fueled by an influx of gang members moving in from California. Tacoma police had experienced nothing like it before and were really struggling to get it under control, oftentimes not even knowing how to respond to it. Ash Street neighbors consistently called police and called 911 repeatedly and got nowhere. The typical response from police at the time was very mild. Community-oriented policing was a new thing, such as taking bullshit calls and pretending like it's not bullshit.
Yes, ma'am. I know you can't sleep when the dogs are barking.
But community policing was still viewed with suspicion by veteran cops who came up in the 60s and preferred the old ways, like smacking people in the head with their portable radios. At the time, Tacoma Police Chief Ray Fatelin pushed these new community policing programs so far that the Hilltop Crip Gang rose to power.
When the OGs from work like ACC, moving out of the streets 200 deep in the park, lanes out of shit, cats from Ashland. When the Ashlands connected with the Hilltop niggas, had to shoot out and chase out from Cal.
Staff Sergeant William Folk of the 2nd Ranger Battalion, 75th Ranger Regiment, purchased his home on Ash Street in hopes that the neighborhood would soon turn around. To protect that investment, he was determined to help push the drugs and gangs out by any means necessary. Which may seem crazy to most people, but Staff Sergeant Folk was not most people. He was an elite operator who at a moment's notice could hit hard and smash fucking everything. You know, Ranger shit. But violence was the last thing the Staff Sergeant wanted, and he remained optimistic. In the summer of 1989, Folk returned from a December deployment in Panama to find the neighborhood worse than when he left. Along with other neighbors who were honest, hard-working people, he formed a neighborhood group that pressed police, demanding action. The neighbors started making signs, protesting, and taking pictures of the drug dealers. Even as the tension on Ash Street rose, Chief Fatelin made a decision he would later regret. Hamstrung by budget constraints and desperately short on the patrol side, he shifted 4 of 6 officers away from the Hilltop Crime Management Team to launch a community policing pilot project. The neighbors on Ash Street reacted with dismay. Under fire from citizens and the city council, a local Tribune covered the controversy, noting efforts by Ash Street neighbors to monitor the drug activity themselves. After the News Tribune piece, drug traffic on Ash Street slowed, but only so much. Staff Sergeant Folk was used to seeing more than 100 cars pass through his block on any given day, and after the story appeared, it was down to 20 cars. Folk decided to install a video camera in his upstairs window to record the traffic. He organized a neighborhood barbecue as a show of public unity set for 3 p.m. Saturday, September 23rd. He invited neighbors, friends, ranger buddies, and thought nothing more of it. The day of the barbecue, a group of Hilltop Crip gangbangers acknowledged Folk outside of his residence and gave him the gun finger. It came from a car full of Crips. Driving by his house, the index finger pointed, thumb up, a little flip of the hand, and the mouthed words, boom, boom.
My God.
Such a big threat. Sua Sponte describes an act of authority taken without formal prompting from another party. Oh! 75th
The
Ranger.
gangster saw the video camera on Folk's house, and a few hours later they returned and threw rocks at it. Someone else took shots at the house and the video camera with a BB gun. Folk and a few ranger buddies then walked across the street to confront the out-of-shape, chain-smoking gangbangers who think they're hard. Folk told them to stop throwing things at his home and the neighbors' homes, to stop shooting BBs, and to instead turn their lives around and find better ways. The gangbangers warned him to take the camera out of his window. The gangbangers suggested the staff sergeant didn't know who he was dealing with. The staff sergeant suggested the gangbangers didn't know
Who they were dealing with. Woo! Interesting
They
story.
then told him, "Your history, bitch," and told him they were going to burn his house down and light him up as soon as the sun goes down. Folk decided to walk away, and before he returned to his home, he overheard one of the Crips stating, "I'm going to shoot that army son of a bitch." Folk then walked inside his house. He picked up his telephone, called some more of his ranger buddies from the 2nd Ranger Battalion, and invited them over for a barbecue, suggesting it wouldn't hurt if they came armed. With translation, bring your own bullets.
Bring your own
Let's
bullets.
have a barbecue.
That was so
Okay, well,
funny.
yeah, what are we gonna smoke? Just some Crips.
The shootout.
Including the few rangers who were already at the barbecue and the rangers called, the total of rangers grew to 15. Folk told them to bring personal weapons and whatever else they had. They came armed to the teeth with handguns, shotguns, and rifles. Folk was armed with a Browning 9mm and a Colt Python 357 Magnum. Fucking Magnum. Who's the gangster now, bitch? Over a couple beers, Folk pitched to his buddies a defensive operation of his home. Stake out locations and wait, no first moves. If police come, disarm immediately, cooperate, and assist. And all of his buddies joyfully agreed and were fucking down. They thought maybe nothing will happen, but if it does, zero tolerance for dudes shooting gats and smoking Swisher Sweets. As the sun went down, the Rangers dispersed into their defensive positions, alert and observant of any and all activity inside and outside the perimeter of the house. A few hours had passed as the Rangers held their positions. One Ranger observed a vehicle approaching in the distance at a slow rate of speed, at which point the vehicle shut off its headlights. Folk, with his Magnum in hand, returned the favor and turned out the lights in his house and in the yard.
Nice.
At 9:20 p.m., as the vehicle approached, someone within the vehicle fired a shot into the air. The house was now taking fire from the rear, where, according to police reports, small caliber automatic gunfire was heard. The Rangers opened a shit ton of fire, but so did the Hilltop Crips. One of the Rangers, William Edwards, was posted on the front porch. When the shooting started, he hit the ground, as a bullet slammed into the wall beside him. He and other Rangers returned fire, seeing figures running amongst parked cars on the other side of the street. Ranger Russell Nolte, posted in the backyard, crawled forward as a shot hit the back of the house 3 feet over his head. Ranger Burr Settles was posted upstairs by the infamous controversial fucking video camera as a shot came through the window. The bullet grazed his head and he received multiple lacerations on his face from the shattered glass. Numerous muzzle flashes were now seen from the east. There were at least 16 shooters in 3 different locations. The Rangers again returned fire, while outside the assailants took cover amongst the parked cars, shooting over their shoulders, ducking down, shooting blindly. You know, stupid shit like that, like gangsters do.
No
At this time,
regrets.
a neighbor taking cover on her kitchen floor dialed 911. And just like the famous Wild West shootout at the OK Corral, it was over in minutes. 10 minutes, to be exact. The first police car came down the middle of the street, cherries and berries on, with his siren blaring. The Rangers dropped their weapons, but as that first patrol car arrived on scene, one of the Hilltop Crip gang members popped a round off, sending the patrol car reversing out of the scene so quickly, smoke was seen coming from the rear tires. Officers in the car reported hearing 50 to 60 shots in less than 1 minute. Shortly after, more cops pulled into the block, and the gangbangers ran.
My God, that was
Subjects were seen fleeing and some caught and detained. Wow. This was amazing. Those guys were brave. Oh, this is actual footage.
And they are really looking like a gangster only.
The unarmed staff sergeant walked out the back door to his driveway in the alley behind his house. He felt someone behind and didn't fight. A hand shoved his head down and a voice ordered him to the ground. One gang member by the name of Frankie Strickland was cornered by a police canine and found to be in possession of 16 rounds of 9mm. He said he was holding them for a friend but couldn't remember the friend's name. You know, like a fucking liar. He also said the same thing about the pistol he was carrying. It was for a friend. Another suspect was carrying copper-headed rounds for a gas gun. Once the situation was under control and the officers learned about the Rangers' defensive operation, the responding sergeant of the Tacoma Police Department wasn't too happy about it. He lectured Folk and the other Rangers for not calling the police for assistance until shots were fired. And felt that the situation may have been avoided by calling 911 prior to the shooting getting started. Out of what was quite possibly a 35-man gunfight with over 300 rounds shot in the dark, no one was reported to be killed or injured. For 20 years,
No
the
one
official
was
version
killed.
of the shootout held that miraculously no one was hurt, but there were rumors injured gang members did not seek medical attention for obvious reasons, and some may have even been mortally wounded. And according to Folk himself, during the firefight, one gang member rushed towards Folk's house. I guess he thought he was gonna John Wayne it, Folk remembered. One of the Rangers took aim and hit the gangster in the shoulder. The attacker staggered back and ran away. The moment goes unmentioned in police reports and witness accounts of the time. Unverified gossip holds that the wounded man was treated at a Seattle area hospital, over an hour away from Tacoma. Doug Sutherland, who was mayor at the time, pondered a declaration of a citywide version of martial law to combat the gang violence that immediately drew national attention. The city of Tacoma found the dollars to add more police officers to their department. Then Governor Booth Gardner even considered sending in the National Guard to Ash Street. The Hilltop Crip gang member who was arrested and found in possession of the 9mm and the pistol, Frankie Strickland, was the only man charged in connection with the shootout. He was convicted of second-degree assault and was later sentenced to 22 months in prison.
He was the only.
The military officially considered the incident a matter of self-defense for the off-duty Rangers. On February 9th, 2010, Tacoma police and FBI launched a major crackdown on the Hilltop Crip gang and charged 32 members with up to 50 crimes, everything from theft to attempted murder and drug.
This is something very strange for me because like they did all this and first of all nobody was killed, and the other thing was like there was like only one person got convicted, and after that how much jail time did he get? 22 months? That's it? For like continuously shooting at Rangers and trying to kill them, you get just 22 months? This is something very ridiculous to me.
A few years back, a Tacoma police officer said something about the shootout. He said it was the single most important incident in Tacoma that caused a change in police policies and practices. Staff Sergeant William Folk never moved away from Ash Street, and as he predicted, he was never promoted and left the Army in 1993. He still owns the property to this day.
What a strange video it was. Seriously, I was, literally, I was so shocked after watching this video. Firstly, the people went to the police, and the police didn't, care about them. They took it very lightly. They took it like, oh, dude, it's not a, my concern. They took it just like that. But after that, a ranger came with his friend of, with his group. That thing was so cool, and it doesn't feel that this story is real. It feels that it is an imaginary story. Such kinds of stories happens in the movie. So this story is just like that. This just like that only. And most importantly, the sad part of the video was that they tried to kill the rangers, and they had only 22 months jail. So that was the sad part of the story, and they killed they harassed a lot of people, and after watching this video, I'm like, this kind of situation this kind of punishment are not only happens in India, it is also implies in the America. Sometimes in India, punishments are given very less as compared to the mistakes the person did. So it is also same with the America. This was the first video which made me literally shocked, because we all know how strict the government of the America is. Still they didn't they didn't give them a proper punishment. So that was the sad part of the story for me. But on the same side, it doesn't feel that the story is real. It feels that it is an imaginary story. It feels that we are watching some kind of movie. So yeah, I really enjoyed the video, but the ending I didn't like.
Yeah, but the thing was, like, this video was very good. Like, narration was very good. The way it was described as, and the way all the soldiers were coming in, everything was happening. And the thing was, at the last moment, the police officer said that it could have been avoided if you could have told us, and you could have dialed 911. But I don't think so that could have happened, because the way it was going on and the way police were, like, we saw that one police came in, and the moment it saw the amount of bullets, it just shot back, and then there were more policemen that were arrived, and then they were able to, like, calm the situation down. Only after I could say, the Marines were, like, Marines, of course, their rule was that if the police came, we will of course put our guns down and calmly try to solve the situation. But before police, will try to kill them all, and that's what they were trying for. Even like how all the Crips, what they did was they made sure that their injuries were never ever shown, and they just cured their injuries in the native hospitals and made sure that this never got reported. But yes, after that, a lot of government action took, and then this solved the main cases. So, like, you need some event like this to solve the major things, and this was, like, the good thing was that nobody was killed. But yes, the thing was, like, this was needed to make sure that good things happen in that area. So what are your memories about it, and when did you see about it? Do let us know in the comment section below. So do like, share, and
Subscribe.
bye.